Welcome on board, everybody. Thank you all for joining the Lions Den today. Thank you, everybody. Always exciting to have you all on board. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. This is going to be fun, folks. Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you so much for making it today. Thank you. It's Monday morning or midday on Monday, folks. Let us have fun together. As always, today we have with us one of our mentors also preparing for an interview. So we just want to make sure they are ready. And as a community, what do? We try to maximize every opportunity to support our team and make sure ultimately they are successful. So thank you, everybody, as always. If you don't mind, ping other folks and say we are live. Let everybody take advantage of it and make sure we can help our folks successful. If you don't mind, can you just type in something and just say hello? Just type in something just to make sure everybody's here. Just say hello. What's up? How is the weekend? How is everything coming with you all? And let's make it the best week ever, folks. Let's make it the best week ever. So once again, as always, a delight to be in the Lions Den. And just to challenge everybody on this call, it's not a place for us to be nervous. I'll tell you one good statistics that makes me so excited. 90% of people that come through our Lions Den so far, 90, I mean 90, have been moved to the next stage of their interviews. Even the ones that we thought were really bad, and we've had a lot of, interviews that were kind of challenging. So it's still amazing that because when you kind of throw yourself out there, you prepare and kind of let other people give you that feedback, healthy feedback, and you utilize those feedback, amazing things typically would happen. So that's been our experience so far. So I love it. I'm so excited about this, really. So don't take it personal, as we always start with. It's just constructive feedback, and if it will make you feel excited also and balanced, remember again, at our Lions Den, if you score five, it's fantastic. We don't give anybody more than five. Occasionally, the only time we've gone beyond five was a six, and it's by design. So don't take it personal that you guys crazy. Why you guys always, giving people grades that are not more than five. The reason is simple. We just want to make sure we are very fair-minded, one. But secondly, we want to make sure that we leave room for you to really stretch the limit, really. So we know you're good. We know you gave it all. We know you tried. At the same time, we want to make sure we can stretch you. And the beautiful thing is that the stretching has made our folks more successful in their actual interview because now they're kind of we've shown all the potential loopholes. And this is not my show, right? I'm just a facilitator, really. It's your show. It's you and I and all of us together collectively as a community. So I rely so much on the community. So please feel free, chat, type, give our folks feedback because they use those feedback. Last week we had somebody come in and she called me like 2 hours after because she had an interview immediately after the Lions Den, and it was a fantastic interview. I mean, it was just, I felt so good about that, really. Even though when she did the interview with us, we kind of chew her, we kind of were a little bit critical, but who cares? At the end of the day, she got moved to the final stage. That's all we care. So that's the goal for us here. So I challenge you, still participate. Okay. That's all we care about. Don't care, because a lot of people don't have this opportunity to have somebody to prepare them, them, give them feedback. And we'll be honest with you, really. If we think, you know what, you got to work on this area, you got to work on this area, we'll tell you, as a team, and just apply those feedback. And many times, like I said, for those that just joined the call, 90% of the folks that have gone through the Lions Den have been moved to the next stage of the interview, which is to me, it's just amazing. I'm happy for that, really personally. And you should be proud of yourself because you're part of that story because your feedback drives everything, really. A lot of time my thought process is probably jammed at times. I'm not thinking it from your angle. Your comments help me to kind of restructure and shape it to say, okay, hey guys, okay, oh, I missed this. Can we ask this question? And I try to show your names and everybody's information there to also give you the credit for the questions you ask also. And that's all we can do. We will try our best, really. We are not of delusion anything is guaranteed, we know. But one thing I know for sure is anytime we put our best, in good faith, put the work, put the time, good things always happen. That one I know, really. So I will keep doing that. We're not going to stop until majority of our folks are well connected, plugged in, understand areas they can improve in, and maximize themselves. So we're happy. All right. So thank you so much, everybody. As always, today we have somebody with us. And before I bring him on board, I would well, let me just bring him in right away. All right. Welcome so much, my brother. Welcome, Mr. Adekunle. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Good afternoon. Good morning.
All right, excellent, sir.
Yeah,
So, before we jump in, typical of our, tradition, we're just going to go through the role itself, and I'll give you my perspective. Then we'll get to your show, right? Then you do your thing at that point in time. So the first one is this is the senior GRC analyst role, risk analyst role. I like the role because it really plays to our strength, in my opinion. It includes doing comprehensive assessment. So when we do those assessments, you all will agree with me. We are thinking about mostly NIST framework or using ISO 27001 framework. Some people can use COVID, whatever framework, but those are the two big ones we focus on from a cyber point of view. So if you can talk about that, it's a strength immediately, right? Then privacy risk assessment is just saying, how do we assess risk from a privacy point of view in general? So if you go to a document that talks about privacy impact assessment, PIA, that would suffice in general. It also jump into third-party risk, right? We did third-party risk assessment, third-party risk review. So get some good context around that too. It means when you're talking to me, you should talk around third-party, your NIST assessment. Those are things, or ISO assessment. Those are things that would catch my attention for sure. It also talks about in three, talks about risk assessment itself, right? IT risk assessment. So I expect you to talk a little bit about the risk assessment, identifying critical assets, the threat and vulnerability of those critical assets, then checking for doing the actual review or assessment of those assets in terms of the likelihood, the impact on the business, then what's your remediation plan or what's the plan. So I need some context around that in general too. Another thing is remediation. Everybody on this call, whatever your story, remediation is always a safe bet because I know most environment would always talk about remediation. Because think about it, no matter how much an assessment or issue you identify, humanity issues will always be there, right? We're not going to run from it. I don't care what environment you are, all of us would have issues we need to fix. Now, the challenge is not identifying the issues because anybody can identify issue, right? The big challenge that every one of us is always talking about is, okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. You've identified all these issues. How do we remediate the issue? And not just remediating or fixing the issue, which of the issues should we prioritize, right? Because think about it, no matter how wealthy a nation or a country or an organization is, Fortune, Apple, Google, Alphabet, any of these big players, I can bet you they still have limited resources. So it means you need to talk to me about, okay, prioritizing the critical risk or high risk in terms of resolution first. Then the next thing is just talking generally in terms of implementation of a risk management program. At the end of the day, risk is always going to be something that is ever evolving in generally. Most times we need to always constantly be very proactive about risk. And the threat landscape is always changing. The introduction of many things, components, immediately most times introduces some threats that we never even thought about in the first place, right? So it means your risk management program must be robust, flexible enough to be able to be adaptive. And I'll give you a specific example. If we talk of emerging technology, all of us can agree AI modeling is a big one right now. AI bias is a big one. Yeah, within the AI framework also, we are saying PHI, PII can be compromised in your AI model. So that means, yes, it's AI. We're also using ChatGPT, all this big stuff. Okay, good, bad, everything. But what about if somebody violate or use or put patient information in the model when they are searching? Do we have mechanism to prevent that? Or put information about European Union member states clients there? So now, am I susceptible to GDPR fine? So those are the reality people will deal with. Then we're talking of emerging technology, 5G. What are the security around it, right? We're talking of Internet of Things. Now we are even talking about remote work from home. Everybody is VPNing now because of after COVID, it becomes the norm right now. So those are the things we should be able to kind of prepare our mind mentally in general, right? All right, let's go to the main thing. Tell me about yourself. I expect you to talk about, I think, at the minimum, walk me through some project around assessment, security assessment you did. Just give me a comfort level around it. Then also sneak in some quantitative value to give me, an assurance that at least from your project, the result was either reduction of threats or improvement of your performance or processes within your environment or increase in compliance, rate. Whatever it is, give tie it to me to feel, oh, okay, this makes sense. Because at the end of the day, always remember, team, bottom line, I know we use star model, but bottom line, let's keep it simple. Problem, resolution, period. Tell me the problem. How did you resolve it? That's it. I mean, that's humanity, right? That's the value we are talking about. There's a problem. That's why they're hiring you and I. Then how did we resolve the problem? So even if you forget everything, let's forget all the old model and everything. Just think and say, okay, what was the problem? What's the resolution? All right. Problem was that their compliance rate the previous year was really bad. I came in, I helped them to push the compliance rates to increase by 15%. Now, there are cyber procedures and policies. They have better guidelines because I build those policies for them. So their compliance rate improved by 15% within a year. So think in your mind, all of us, at the end of the day, whatever you're telling me, if you don't remember STAR, no big deal. STAR is simply saying situation, task, action, result. Let's forget that for a second. Think and say problem. So if you forget everything else, just remember those two. All right. What problem are you talking about? How did you resolve it? Period. If you can articulate those two, let's keep it simple. Problem, solution. That's it. If you can give me those two contexts, bingo, I'll be good. All right. The final one is what questions do you have for me? I think it's a good idea. Ask them what their approach is in terms of data privacy and security. How does it align with their strategic goal in general? And you can ask for their priorities in terms of what are the key areas that are top priorities for them in their, risk management program. Stuff around that kind of get people excited about you because it shows that you've taken time to think through their environment and you're thinking of adding value to them ultimately. All right. So those are the thought process from my own personal view, right? As always, folks, it's now your show, sir. Right. So, again, everybody, remember, everybody, please, the most value, I love this for one thing. Every time, bless you, sir, every time we get our folks here, 90% of the time they move to the next phase. I love it. To me, it's a beautiful, beautiful statistics for us. So never shy away or run from being part of this process. Honestly, it's a blessing. I genuinely believe that. I would love someone to interview me on roles I'm preparing for because it will give me that grind, that stamina to think about it. No matter how experienced you are, I can guarantee you one thing. If it's a long time you've interviewed, you get a bit rusty. So it's nice to have people to kind of guide you. And it's not me really. It's I look at everybody's comment. Trust me, everybody's comment guide all the questions we ask in this forum. So don't shy from being part of this community. We outweigh the risk in terms of a lot of people say, well, what about if somebody sees you? So, screw that, in my opinion, really. So what if somebody sees me? What about if nobody sees me and I don't even have a job because I was never prepared for an interview? Screw that. That's nobody cares. Nobody's looking for you and I, let's be honest. I think we are complicating our lives if that's your thought process, really. So I don't care about that personally. At the end of the day, the goal is, we are preparing ourselves for an interview. I think it's illegal, it's right thing to do. So if you have a forum that prepares for an interview, why not? Everybody will jump on it, really. It's not like anybody's looking for you to see. So what? If you see me interviewing, preparing for an interview, you should say, this guy is amazing. He's preparing. Is the guy I want in my team because he or she prepares before they even came to interview with me. That is awesome. As a leader, I would want to hire you really because you prepared. I would rather have someone that's P5 theory, proper preparation prevents poor performance. We love it. Prepare, prepare, prepare. Nobody's looking for you and I. Okay, that's my own personal feel about it. Okay, and congratulations on your next move. I mean, I was there last week, so that's awesome. All right, let's get out of here and jump into the weeds of it. All right, so sir, let's get to you in a second. Let's go to you. All right. Okay, so the normal drill before I jump in with you, I think I already gave you the feedback. This is for everybody. Anytime you do an interview, just my opinion, optics matter. Make sure you go to a place the light is good. And some of our community suggested we should buy ring light. So everybody on this call, I'll probably send the link on ring light to you all to in our group. So if you see ring light sent to you guys, don't say, "Oh boy, these guys are now marketing or selling stuff for you guys." It's just I'll check a few, and if I see anyone that is affordable, not too expensive, I'll send it to the larger group and just get one. It's not expensive. When you have a meeting like this, just put the light in front of you so that it will zoom and give some clarity. It matters. Optics matters. All right, let's jump into it, sir. All right, I saw a resume online, and I think it might be a fit for us. We are looking for a senior GRC analyst. This role would be client-facing. Would expect you to be articulate to talk about the specific issues you've noticed within the assessment we perform. You're going to independently perform assessment also, mostly with NIST framework. And we need someone to help us with remediation project, building of policies and procedures also, and sometimes even supporting the third party risk program. So if you don't mind, walk me through your experience and what you've done.
Thank you so much for thank you so much for having me for having me. And I'm very excited to be here and to learn more about these opportunities. My name is Hade, and I'm a cybersecurity analyst with 6 years of experience with a strong background in information security, particularly in the area of governance, risk, and compliance. My passion lies in ensuring the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of data and information system. So throughout my career, I've had the opportunity to work in different domains of cybersecurity, including risk assessment, both internal and external, asset management, cybersecurity remediation plan, data governance and privacy risk management, vulnerability management, identity and access management, cyber incident response, audit and compliance, niche framework for effective cyber security policy and procedures, business continuity and disaster recovery. I also have opportunity to work on ISO 2701 framework for information security and key regulations in cyber security. We include GDPR, EPAS, PCI DSS, SOX, ITRUST, CPA. Are also involved in security control implementation, then third-party risk assessment, IT general control, mapping cybersecurity framework with a security control policy, employee training and awareness. I also excel in using GRC tools, to be precise, OneTrust. In my previous role, I've been responsible for conducting comprehensive security and private risk assessment for business unit, critical projects, and information asset. I take a pride in ensuring that my company are well prepared to face security challenge. We cannot afford. We deal with security challenges on a daily basis. So I ensuring that companies are well prepared to face security challenges, and also to ensure compliance with industry standards. Do you have a question for me?
Okay, thank you so much. I like that. You said security challenges within your organization. What would you say are the top two challenges you faced within your organization in the past?
Thank you for thank you for that question. If I can remember, one of the security challenges is data breach. So the company experienced a data breach, which resulted in the loss of customer sensitive data. And the second security has to do with uh, with the use of access control.
Okay. All right. Be specific with me. Which area of access control did you?
Yeah, we talk of multi-factor authentication for critical system.
Okay. Okay. Can you walk me? Do you develop contents of the training awareness, or you manage the program? What's your role when you do training and awareness?
Yeah, I collaborate with the HR, with the audit team, with audit team and compliance team. So I manage the training awareness.
Okay. So do you follow up if there are compliance issues they need to meet up with? What's your role in managing it? Is it just mostly to get the metrics from them, or you actually, what's your specific role there?
Yeah, actually, yeah. In my specific role is on the project. I use OneTrust.
Okay, one trust.
Yeah, I
Okay,
use OneTrust to 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 document the training I want in progress. So we through that the HR,
okay,
the HR, the IT, everybody was able to was able to track the progress of the training.
got it. Can you give me specific example of project in risk management you worked on, and how did you go about it? Just any risk management project you worked on, and that could be risk assessment. That could be any project. Can you just walk me through it?
Yeah, one of the projects I can remember when it comes to use of risk management was that I have a couple of projects
Okay,
on um, the one I can remember has to do with has to do with have to do with had to do with enhancing the compliance rate.
okay,
When I moved into the company, I was given the based on my what during the onboarding, I was
yeah,
reviewed by the bodies of the company that I was given the tax by the of the company that uh, about the I was briefed about the compliance rate of the about the compliance of the company. So having reviewed the compliance policy, I discovered
yeah.
that there's a need for us to enhance the compliance rate in order to meet up with our annual audit. So what I did is I I uh, uh, I what I did was that uh, uh, tried
And it's
to
okay. I know you mentioned earlier on you worked on NIST framework
yeah,
mapping. Can you talk about that one, for example?
yeah. Yeah, so far so good. I was able to use a niche 853
Okay,
F3.
okay.
Yeah, that is for selecting
Walk me through that project. For example, in our organization, we have a list of security controls,
yeah,
and we map it to the NIST framework.
yeah.
We ask questions from the major stakeholders, and we score them based on certain maturity. So that's what we do, and eventually, based on the score, we identify gaps, we identify areas of improvement, and based on that, we develop action plan for our leadership. So I don't know if it's similar thing you all do, and walk me through what you do.
Yeah, it's more or less related. But what I did was that
Okay,
yeah, I I use a Nix 853 Rev4.
okay,
Yeah, therefore to select a security control based on the need of the system. So what I
okay,
did is, so in doing that, I collaborate. I work with the conventional team. I work
yeah,
with the data owner, the HISO, the system administrators, the AO. I work with the internal assessors.
okay,
So through that, we so what I did in the project was that I used, like I told you, I used 853 REV4 to select a security control, and
okay,
based on that, I was able to enforce a technical control, which is more or less like role-based asset role-based RBAC, role-based asset control
okay.
for the
Got it.
system for the system.
All right. So, as within our organization, our GRC analysts have multiple roles they perform.
Yeah.
So, from your previous experience, walk me through a regular day as a GRC analyst, as a senior GRC analyst in your previous role. What's a typical day for you?
Thank you so much for that for that question. As a GRC analyst, my typical day. Uh, First of all, I believe in setting clear goals and planning ahead to ensure productivity and efficiency. So typically, my day starts with reviewing my calendar and prioritizing my tasks for the day. So I begin by checking my emails and responding to any urgent or important message. So throughout my day, I engage in various activities such as meetings,
Yeah.
collaborating with team members, working on projects, collaborating with different teams to gather information and ensure compliance. So monitoring and reporting on compliance activities and providing guidance on training and compliance on best practices. staying up to date on emerging risks and regulatory changes. I also assist in incident response and remediation efforts. Toward the end of my day, I renew my progress and also take plan to plan for the next day. Overall, my typical day involve around effective time management,
Okay.
collaboration with colleagues,
Yeah.
continuous learning, delivering results, and align with company goal. Thank you.
Excellent. All right. So, can you walk me through how do you stay updated with latest regulation and within GRC? How do you keep yourself abreast of the new trends out there?
Thank you so much for that question. Yeah, I stay up to date by attending industry conference or seminars, follow up with government official websites such as CSAS, and also I participate in training program and reading industry publication, and also engage with other cybersecurity professionals to leverage on their skill set. I also make it priority to continuously learn and develop new skills, which allow me to stay ahead of the curve when it comes to cybersecurity.
Got it. Okay, that's fair enough. I know you mentioned you use One Trust as a solution out there. Beside using it to track and assign content, what else do you use One Trust for?
Yeah, we use OneTrust for audit and compliance.
Okay, so you track audit program
Um,
also.
yeah, audit and compliance. Then we track a risk as well, and at the same time, is a project management tools in which all the GRC analysts in which we can track all the progress when it comes to risk assessment or when it comes to the third party risk assessment. So it's a tool everybody can go into the system
Okay.
to track the progress.
Got it. So, as a GRC analyst, I know you'll be involved in some of the annual audits. Sometimes you might be asked to support an audit initiative, sometimes SOC 2, Type 2 report, PCI, EPA, or any of those audits. Do you have experience with those? And can you walk us through some of your role in doing those audits?
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, based on the company uh, policy and procedures,
Yeah.
and for feasibility and accountabilities. Most of these, when it comes to self audit, I only collaborate with audit team. We have an audit team that are signed for the
Okay.
for the role. What I always say, what's my one thing when it comes to IT audit, my own is just to ensure compliance with
Okay.
with um, with different regulation and standard with industry
Okay.
standard. Yeah, just to
Okay.
ensure
So
compliance.
got it. So really, you're not really involved in the audits. You just make sure best practices are followed so that you have limited audit finding. Is that right?
Yeah, and just to make sure our compliance, just to make sure we achieve a very positive feedback from our customers, and at the same time, just to ensure compliance to make sure I enhance our compliance rate.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Do you have any questions for us?
Um, mm, Thank you so much for that. If I may ask, what are the top priority in the company risk management strategy currently, and how do you propose the GRC risk analyst contributed to address these challenges?
So right now, one of the immediate priority for us as an organization is we need someone to help us to remediate aging issues. Some of our issues are as old as 180 days, some of them a year. So we know that we are not in compliance already. So we need someone to come in to take leadership and help us to remediate those issues, especially critical issues like access control. So when we have issues like segregation of duties, we want someone to come in there and help us to fix those with the appropriate stakeholders. So those will be the immediate priority for us because we've been dinged a couple of times for those issues.
Thank you so much, Mother. This really, thank you for your honesty, for opening up. This really, give me an insight about the company. Thank you so much. My second question is that what tools does the company primarily use for compliance management?
Okay, so we have a couple of tools. We actually also use OneTrust. A different department use OneTrust. Primarily, we use Risk Rhino as our preferred GRC solution.
Thank you so much. What is the culture like in your company?
Sorry, did you
What
say
is the
something?
cul- what is the culture like in your company? What is the culture like in your
The
company?
culture.
Yeah,
Well, it's a very dynamic environment, so changes is always constant here. Things are always changing.
thank you so much. I can see during my research that I noticed in your LinkedIn profile that you have joined the company about 5 years ago. I would love to know what your decision process was and why did you decide to join the company? Why did you decide to join the company?
I think, as you know, it's a global organization with a reputation of being innovative. So that caught my attention. And the culture did not disappoint so far. It's a very innovative company.
Thank you so much. Then the last question: what advice can you give to someone like me that want to grow, that want to excel in this industry?
I think more importantly is just be adaptive because things would always change. So just be willing to be adaptive in every situation. And the risk and threat landscape is always evolving. So just be adaptive.
Thank you so much. So lastly, I want to thank you so much for having me this opportunity for this interview, and I want to echo again and that I believe my greatest strength is being a great team player and builders, and I exhibit a warm attitude among the team members. I'm a fast learner, hardworking, proactive, excel in communication, collaboration, and decision making, and I'm committed to staying up to date with the latest trend and technology, cybersecurity. I believe that my skills experience will make a valuable asset to your organization when I come on board. Thank you so much for having me. It's a great
All
pleasure
right.
to learn from you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. All right. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Let's give him a round of applause for surviving the Lions Den for. All right. Let's appreciate that. Okay. All right. So, man, a lot of feedback. Amazing, great feedback. And I think we're going to, and I'll make sure I do justice to this because this is so important. Personally, I think you are very articulate. You're a fast talker. So my challenge is we're going to slow you down, all right? And you start picking those words for us, okay?
Okay.
And make sure because at the end of the day, the key is effective communication, right? So
Okay.
you need to break it down. There's a reason when you see the likes of politicians say, my fellow Americans, right now it's by design. When one of the most eloquent speaker of at least 21st century tagged Obama, right? You see the way he breaks his words, right? Because it's by design. Because at the end of this communication, right? So I challenge you, calm down for me, and just pick the words. Relax. It's your show. You have so much content, so much information, and I'm sure that we'll get to some of the comments that it's like you're a library of information, really. Even though I have some feedback that it looks like you're reading, let's leave that for a second. But you have so much information. The question is that how do we digest that information to make complexity simple? Don't forget the bottom line is problem resolution. I like when you ask me, do you have questions? Because you try to engage me. I like it. But don't give me too much information, then engage me. Because honestly, my head is already blown. Boom. That, oh boy, this guy has killed me with so much information right now, and I'm trying to process it. So, kind of break it down a little bit. Be ready to give me 4 scenarios. And now, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes we complicate this thing too much, in my opinion. For example, if you tell me you're responsible for a remediation project, and prior to you joining, you had tons of remediation. By the end of your remediation plan and execution, you reduce the remediation by 20% within your first 3 months. And some of the key issues were something as simple as patches applied to critical systems. So I've kind of broke it down to simple things that, okay, there's remediation, which is just all of us know there will be issues all the time. Tell me how you fix it. That's all. I mean, I followed up on those issues. I made sure the key stakeholders make it a priority, sometimes escalate it to leadership if it's required, and most of these issues were resolved. So I kept it simple. If I ask you about NIST framework mapping, don't forget every organization already have their list of security controls, right? You're saying, I want to check, benchmark it to NIST framework to see areas that they have gaps at the end of the day. After the assessment was done, yeah, just give me a story. So you have to be comfortable with your story in a way that you don't make it too long, but at the same time, you're telling me, look at the problem and here's the solution at the end of the day, right? So that's the way I want us to make sure we groom it. And the truth is this, no matter how smart you are, I'll challenge everyone on this call, there's a need to have a 5-10 minutes daily and just talk about this thing yourself. Sometimes laugh at yourself, look at the mirror, just talk about it. Because the more you talk about it, it just gets more simple to explain. If you have it in your mind, it will cluster everything because it's so much. That's my observation. You have so much information and you're just so ready to load it on me. And I just knew this guy has so much information. My God, how do we break it down? Now, break it down smaller, then engagement. Let me give you some more feedback just to give you some other story from the team. Let's see. All right. I think we talked about that. Let me see some feedback. Let's see. Okay, somebody said you have many years of experience. Your project should be at your fingertips. I agree. So everybody on this call, when you do this interview, please, everybody have 3 to 4 projects that you know that I'm ready to go. I don't care what the interview shapes to be. Those your 4 projects, hold it handy and say, you know what? At the end of the day, I don't care what you say, but my 4 projects, I'm ready to go. That's what I would challenge you to do. Because that's like your Hail Mary, your slam dunk, really. That's what it is. So don't get out of your comfort zone because every one of a project, my opinion, especially when it's GRC job, talk about assessment, talk about building policy, talk about remediation. Those are 3 key needs I know is constantly going to be available within that space. So make sure you are ready to go with me and keep it simple. Don't make it complicated. Engage me. Don't forget the lab we did in class. Just talk about it. Just engage me and say, hey, you know what? One of my projects, I had a new CISO join my organization, and she wanted me to help with an assessment to understand the risk landscape in the business. So you've given me a story. A new person joined my company. She was confused because she needed to know where the risk is so that she can speak to the board. Let me challenge you guys. Maybe she's on this call. One of our um, previous students, she's focused on a role now. She's into policy development and procedures. As at this morning, we connected over the weekend. This morning, she's presenting to the board of a global company. She and her team are presenting to a board. So we had to kind of brainstorm, look at but it's amazing. So I'm just tell that story. That's all. Tell the story. You know. Let's do some other feedback. Need to calm down. Okay, let me just show you so you can enjoy those feedback too. Yeah, this is one of them. Another one is need to calm down, and use your words, sir. That's, yeah, calm down, just calm down. I know you have so much in you. I can tell you are so loaded with so much, but we need to streamline it because the key is effective communication. All right, let's see more. Looks like you're reading from another screen. All right, so um, I'm not even too worried about that as long as you can keep it simple because over time you would know how to put your talking point. Now, everybody, no matter how smart you are, still have like a sticky so that you can have reference to what you want to talk about, right? Because if you don't have a reference, you can forget. So, but don't make it too long because it will look like reading. Like we can tell you're reading, right? So trust me, the interviewer would tell too that you are reading, right? One of you might be the interviewers. It happens a lot. Some of our team interview people too. So we already now we do this thing. So they will know that you're reading something. So keep it natural as much as possible. That's why I always tell us to pause and ask, do you have any questions? So that it's engaging. Even if I feel like I'm reading, but if it's engaging, people will give you their feedback and they will listen to your story. The key is story. Story, story, story. Every one of our projects is a story. A story might be a CISO joined, they're in trouble, they need to figure out what the problem is. A story is okay, yearly audits, they're about to audit us. They need somebody to be going about to make sure we are ready for the audit. That's a story. A story is okay, we have all these tons of issues, we've not even resolved it for the last 1 year. And this happens a lot. You see aging issues, sometimes 2 years, they've not even fixed it. 18 months, 12 months, 9 months is a normal story. That's a story. Never forget there's a story behind it. You need to understand the story. Forget all this technical jargon for a second and say, okay, what's the story? What exactly am I, in your mind? Don't forget this is we are just telling story. That's all. I'm just saying, okay, this was the issue. This is my role, and I help them to resolve it. That's it. Nothing fancy. Just give me a simple story that we can all connect with. That's all. So I challenge everybody on the call for every scenario, understand the story and just talk about it. All right. Okay, let's see another one. Try to commit your questions to memory so that you don't appear to be reading. Okay, that's a good point too. So, okay, comment. I know you asked me a lot of questions, almost five. Okay, which shows but I don't also want to feel like you're interviewing me. Like yes, I know technically we're interviewing each other, but I don't want to feel like because you asked me about five questions, right? I think two to three, just my opinion, sounds about right. And make it something, I like the one that made me think, like, okay, what kept you here? What's the culture like? Then what are the priority projects? Things that will make the other person think and say, oh, okay, oh, this guy got me. I'm thinking now. Because some people will never have asked those kind of questions before that, oh, now I have to think. So I like that, but don't make it too much or else I would feel, overwhelmed with a lot of questions. Okay. Let me say another one. Somebody said great follow-up questions. I like that. Um, okay, so I think we agree we should just speak slowly, and I think the truth is all of us dealt with this at some point. It's normal for all of us, right? Especially if you're an immigrant. Mostly, by default, we are fast, so we have to be very intentional by pausing. Just pick your words, and it's no big deal. All right, let's another one. He has a lot of information. We need to be clearly and okay. I think we highlighted that. Thank you so much, Ukamaka. Um, okay, another one. I like this one. I think we should share this one. Okay, so this is yeah, I agree with this. Very knowledgeable. You are so much with so much knowledge, but sometimes you may not even be aware you are repeating some of the things. That's why we all have to write things down. No matter how smart you are, I can bet you sometimes we forget stuff, right? You might forget you even mentioned that story before, but it sounds sometimes like, oh, did I hear that before? So be very, very intentional. Know your three story that is by default outside of the follow-up questions, and you talk about it. That's it. Let them ask me question around my default questions that I know I'm going to ask. All right, that was a good one. Somebody said I love the follow-up questions. Yeah, I like that too. Yeah, yeah, that's a good one. um okay, okay, yeah, somebody said this. Okay, let's think about this together. I think I may agree with this a little bit. Since you're applying for a senior position, your follow-up question should include how can you grow in this compliance field. Just my thought. Shouldn't include how can you grow in this compliance field. When you asked that, I kind of chuckled a little bit. I'm thinking that wait a minute. Yes. I think you're already a thought leader because you are a senior, so you've grown in this field already. So my expectation is, maybe if you go along the line of what is the pathway to being a leadership in this organization, that might be nice. So let's find, maybe yeah, just let them give you the pathway, and I'll tell you, most people will not even tell, they won't know the pathway because they are also trying to figure it out mostly. So we can kind of ask that question that way, but don't let it feel like you're looking for them to guide you to, you're a leader already, you are clear. So I want you to go with the impression you know what you're looking for, and your goal is to grow. So you tell me the pathway in your own organization so I can follow and align with that pathway to grow. All right, let's see another one. Um, all right. Overall, a lot of people said great job. Let's see. Okay, somebody said, I agree. We have a lot of information. We just need to slow down. Somebody said, well done, Adekunle. Yeah. And honestly, folks, man, my heart to anyone that comes to our Lions Den, never run from it. it's not smart, in my opinion. Just come. We are not here to, it's our family, it's safe space for our community. We just want to help ourselves. That's it. A lot of people on this call supporting, helping. They're at work too. They're just listening to help each other. So just come, man. Let's just help you. We just get an offer. Who cares? After 2 months, you get an offer. Shoo. And hopefully you lift someone else up to, to become better. That's what we can do. Nothing else really. And I love this really because I appreciate the community doing this. I know it's a lot of sacrifice, a lot of it at work. So, so I know. Let's another question here. Okay, yes, I like this. Thank you, Michael. I wrote that down. I know you're a very respectful man, sir. I see that. It's so natural for you. Thank you for everything. Let's limit the thank you because at the point, some people are not used to thank you, to be honest. It's gonna freak them out that, oh my god, this guy is extremely courteous, right? So which is a strength, but don't make it every question to say thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Just once you say thank you for, at the early stage, the salutation, the other part, just keep the thank you to the end of the interview. Be very intentional about that, okay? How can I get the contact of this school or presenter of the tutor? Blah blah blah. Well, if you're on this platform, this is Skillweed, right? So we have a community, we support each other. Um, Take your time and we say thank you. Yep, Skillweed is a school. Thank you all. Let's see, research on the tools you have. Okay, that's another good one. Thank you, AB. So, like the tools we have on our resume, right? So, for example, I know you said One Trust. So if you put One Trust on your resume, for all our community, we have a partnership with Risk Rhino, right? So Risk Rhino is our strategic partners. We use their software. If I ask you what do you do with Risk Rhino, and you tell me you do risk assessment, then somebody follows up and say, beside risk assessment, what else do you do? I expect you to say we can build third-party questionnaires with it. We can track risk and control metrics with it. We can track regulation with it. That's what I expect you to do or say. So the same thing for One Trust. If somebody asks you additional function of a tool on your resume, even if you've not used those functionality, be ready to say, oh yeah, I mean, it's also useful ABC. You may have not used that, but be ready to say what else it does. Okay. All right, let's another one. Why not ask the interviewer how they grew to a senior leadership? I love this. This is awesome, actually. This is great. I love this question. Why not ask the interviewer how they grew to a senior leadership in the organization instead of how you can grow? I love that. I think that's even a better way than mine. So that's a good way. You can ask them and say, how did you grow in leadership in this organization? Now, the other twist to it might be they might have been hired as a leader straight up. And that's fine. Even if they have, they will tell you what their thoughts are. But this is I love that. That's really good. All right, cool. And I think any other question, but man, Mr. Adekunle, thank you so much for making this. And one thing I'll tell everybody on this call, remember again, 90% of people that come to the Lions Den are moved to the next stage. Most of us come to this den at the first stage of before your first interview. It's a great statistic. Even the ones that I thought were horrible. Last week we had a couple of interviews that didn't go well, in the Lions Den. And guess what? All of them were moved to the next stage. So I was so happy that, okay, you know what? Whatever we did was right, because, we are not nice here. We are kind, but we are not nice people. We are going to be critical. We are going to chew you, but it's okay. It's internal, right? And at the end of the day, who cares? Prepare yourself mentally. I don't know if you guys are aware of it. There's, what's the name of the club we all go to? Oh, shoot, you just keep my head. Um, the one we meet at Starbucks that we all talk. Can you guys type the name? The one we meet. Uh, this club for communication. What do you call that club? I just forgot the name. But anyway, it's a club you meet and they give you a topic and you talk. They give you a topic and you talk. Somebody's going to type the name now. But the point is that it's a way we all prepare ourselves for communication and leadership. I used to be part of that for many years myself. You just go to a Starbucks, they will give you a topic. Maybe we should start it even on our platform and just give people topic and we club. No, well, it's not Clubhouse. There's another one. Yeah, Clubhouse is good, but there's another one. Toastmaster. Toastmaster. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Clubhouse. Yeah, but Toastmaster it's Toastmaster. Toastmaster is just a place you just go. Somebody will just give you a topic and you talk. But I think it's really nice. Maybe we'll start one or Clubhouse. One of these we can use one of these to just kind of get our guys, give a topic to kind of get us exciting and just why not? All right, so that's all we got for today. There's another person. Let's give it up for Mr. Adekunle. Let's give him some love. Let's give him some love. Everybody, please, can we just give him some love? Thank you for showing. I know it's not always the easiest thing to do, so I gotta give love to anyone that decides to come to the. So thank you so much, brother. You did well. I mean, that
Yeah,
was good. Now I'm still
you're
gonna give you
welcome.
my grade.
Thank,
I
thank
mean,
you so much.
yeah,
Thank you so much.
let's give you a
Thank you for a good
grade.
work, Mr. Akin.
Oh, no problem. As always, we are not going to be nice. We are still going
Yeah,
to chew you a little bit, sir.
yeah.
So we are going to give you based on what I see because you have substance, but I need to get the coordinator. I'm going to give you a 4. So let's give you some love. We're going to give you a 4.
Thank you so much.
We're going to give you a 4.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. And I appreciate it so much, sir. Thank you for making it. And thank you so much. Good luck on the interview. More to come. Okay.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for the
Thank you,
work.
sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. All right. So before we go, let me just quickly run through. There was someone else that showed me a role, and I just thought I should just talk about it. Really, he's not going to make it, but the role is really more like a risk analyst slash business analyst role. For those of you, in case you've never been on, you don't know anything about business analysts, it's okay. Think about them as they gather requirement mostly from organization. So today we are skilled, we are doing interview and all that. A business analyst would be gathering requirement on what are the steps it takes to conduct our interview process within Skillweed, right? They would say, well, they need to prepare A, they need to prepare B, get the interviewee ready, get the job description ready. That's what a business analyst does. All right. So this role is kind of tricky because it has connotation of business analyst and risk analyst. So this person wants to just try it, or okay. And you know what? I am mad at people that want to give it a try, right? Some of you on this call might have said, well, I don't know, I've heard about business analyst, risk analyst role, blah, blah, blah. It's not a big deal, in my opinion. Of course, just prepare for them. And if it has some element of compliance or risk, I think we can apply for it. If you see that some of the things there are things we can talk about, because sometimes the role of a QA analyst at times, especially around risk QA analysts, you'll be surprised that some of them is just keeping risk registry, tracking all the risk information within your organization. I don't care. I want my guys to get a job, right? And we'll support you, you know. And like this now, they said QA finding. So if there's a QA or QC finding they have, you'll be the one tracking those findings and figuring it out. If there are tools they are using, right? Hey, we'll go figure it out. You know, and some of you say this guy is crazy, but it's just the reality, right? My own personal life has mostly been professionally consulting, right? Consulting is strictly go figure it out. That's it. And that's why, if you have consulting background, you tend to just know that, you know what, if somebody has done it before, then we should be able to figure out resources to pull together to execute it too. That's the reality. So that should be our mindset. Never limit your thinking. If you see a role, it might not be perfectly to what you are familiar with. If it has some element of it, ladies and gentlemen, sir, ma'am, let's go for it. We will figure it out. That's my own take around that. Worst case, what's the worst case? Would have learned something new. And even if they say, oh, if I lose a position because of I roughed it and learned something new, so what? You can't take the knowledge I took from the 1 month of collecting your paycheck anyway. So, I'm not of the illusion we should not prepare, but sometimes a lot of people have in the past been privileged to be part of their story. I'll tell you one thing, they stumbled into roles that changed their lives professionally because of a skill they have and their openness to learn a new skill or a new tool. And it's so be open-minded, be adaptive, don't limit your thinking because you'll be shocked that the difference between what you know and what somebody else is doing is just very simple. It might be a YouTube 1 hour video. Yes, yes. The difference at times is just a 1 hour video on YouTube that would be different between. So don't lose opportunity because of you feel, oh, it's not something I've learned. Check it out and see if it's similar. If it's not a big deal, apply. Don't even don't. That's what I would do. Okay, I know we are different, but I'm just being honest with you, right? All right. Another thing here for this gentleman, if he's on the call, of course, in business analysts, the key thing is their business requirement documentation. Many of BAs right now, they are using agile methodology also. So they use user story instead of functional specs or business requirement documentation. They track on with user stories. Now, don't worry, my cyber guys, but these are just some of you are scrum masters or product owners, so you know what I'm talking about. But I don't want to get into all those details. But I know it so well. I know it so well. I was a senior product manager myself, so I know it. I know that world very well. But I won't go into those details for us. The other thing here is that this role would collaborate with people that are resolving QA findings. So, which is similar to what um, a compliance person is doing. If there are issues they need to remediate, they want you to follow up with those remediation. That's it. Then let me see the final thing here. Let's see. Um, Monitoring, yeah, monitoring of the issues they notice. So, yep. And I think that's then the questions around it. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Just ask them around the way the tools they use, their process around data quality within the business itself, compliance requirement. I think if it's data, we can always say compliance requirement around GDPR, potentially if it's healthcare, EPA, if they have touch point in California, CCPA comes in. If they are based in Asia, there will be local regulations they have to follow also with their data. So, but that's the whole summary of that role. So I challenge everybody, if you see some roles that says data quality, QA, and you look at some of them and it has some element to compliance in the discussion, give it a try. Why not? If you give it a try, I guarantee you we will go through it in our Lions Den, break it down, and have some story to talk about. Now, even if you don't get the role, guess what? You would have learned a new area that you think makes sense because the way the economy is globally right now, we all need to just be adaptive. Don't limit yourself and think it has to be one role. Be open-minded, and I challenge everybody. Keep developing yourself. Never wait for and say, "Oh, this is it." No, another thing, please, very important. Don't be fooled by the description on anything. Look at the responsibilities. Forget the title. Because I've seen a lot of my folks, they get job as governance policy analyst, data private, the titles that we are not familiar with, honestly. But every company has the way they put titles. Look at the roles, the functions, right? And say, okay, what are they looking for? If it has over 60% of what we've done, apply. Even honestly, if it's even over 50%, if it's not even 60, if it's over 50%, apply. As long as they are transparent. If you tell me that, hey, well, we use this, well, I've not used that, but I did a similar thing. We'll be transparent. But many times because they know you have an idea in similar thing, people know the difference is not much. Okay, I'll bring this guy, I'll train them in the tool. It's not a big deal. People do that all the time. So, not a big deal. All right, thank you so much for making it. I appreciate it. One more favor I need before you all go. Please do me a favor. Please kindly just like the video on YouTube. That helps us a lot and make more people to see it. Thank you so much, everybody. Best week ever. Thursday, we're going to have another one. Please don't be shy from being in the Lions Den. Godspeed. Take care, everybody.